So let's do this. The first thing, I know you guys been talking already. It's good that you guys are starting your networking. These events, it's good to come out and learn as well, but it's also part of the networking time that you guys are here, okay? So let's do this. Let's have all you guys stand up. All right, and then just do a quick introduction. Stand up. To the people, if you're here with someone that you know, then maybe look behind you or in front of you. But stand up, do a quick introduction to the person behind, in front, or to the side of you. Just say your name and why you're interested in commercial real estate. All right. So, hey, bro. That's gonna be an example from me, but nobody wants to know me. Get to know these two people. So, yeah, why commercial real estate? Alright, so just at least two people. Alright. Okay, let's have everybody come back. So you guys met two people? How many people you guys meet? Two people? It's still meeting. Well, I was gonna meet you, but you didn't want to meet me. So. But my name is Khang, so nice to meet you guys. I am still doing residential real estate, but the reason I asked this buddy to come and do the commercial training is that I want to get to commercial real estate. So that's somewhere that me and my wife and our team wants to get into in the future. So I hope you guys learn a lot today. Today we're talking about commercial real estate, right? You guys in the right place? Okay, all right, that's good. So those people, you guys met two people? All right, those are your drinking buddies tonight, all right? So with that, if you guys came in, each of you guys should have gotten a ticket like this, right? Who doesn't have one? All right, who got one? Who got two? Or three? All right. So this is gonna be your drink ticket. You guys can get it now throughout the night or after we finish the presentation. Just go out there to the bartender, give the ticket, you get a free beer. Okay. That's the beer for you guys. And you know, later towards the evening, towards the end, we have this room to ourselves to us tonight. So you guys are welcome to still hang out, stay, network, and sing if you guys want to sing. So, because this is a karaoke place. So, yeah, sometimes some of the people that came, they stayed until they closed. So you guys are free to do that too, okay? What's that sound? With that, welcome all you guys to Mongrel Builders seminars. So we're doing real estate seminars, but Mongrel Builders, we're gonna start doing some business seminars as well in the future, okay? So today we're gonna be, my buddy Tong's gonna be talking about commercial real estate, which I will have him come and talk about that in a little bit here. But basically, it's introduction to commercial real estate. Commercial real estate, it's a very wide, you know, there's a lot of different niche that you could go into. But today we're going to talk specifically about retail property. So these are like these retail small shopping centers that you guys see that might have like 4 or 5 different small mom and pop shops. And so he just purchased that property and he's gonna be sharing how he's able to do that. So who wants to purchase $1 million property too? All right, me. So I'm gonna copy everything he has to share today. And just gonna, all you have to do is just copy what they do. So in real estate, that's what I love about real estate. Just copy the guy that does it ahead of you. So I'm gonna be copying Tong. So with that, we did have a couple of sponsors that are here tonight. They help pay for the food and a couple of drinks and stuff. It costs money to kind of put this together. And you guys also pay, because you guys paid $25 to be here tonight. And so we want to make sure that we could provide as much value to you guys as possible, okay? So with that, the first sponsor we have is one of ours too. Me and my partner here, Chi Chang, we started a plumbing company. So with that, if you guys can, please give me a round of applause and help me welcome Chi Chang to come up here to say a few words. So thank you for buying us food.
All right, guys. Well, hey, thanks for coming out again. Okay. So this is our company here, MTMC Home Services. We're doing plumbing, roofing, and also real estate consultation. What else I gotta say? I know. I'm sorry. I was eating a little bit, and he called me. I was like, "Oh shoot, what did I say now?"
Does that mean you do commercial plumbing and roofing?
We could, yes.
Yeah. So thank you. And we have our master plumber here, Gary. So he's gonna supervise, make sure everything's correct. So thank you, Gary. All right, that's it.
Yep.
So if you guys need any plumbing services, give Chi a call. That's actually my number, but I'll forward you guys to Chi. Because he's from Merced and he has to change his number. And every time we put his phone number out, nobody calls. Because it's a 209 number.
It's the thing I'm in California.
Yeah, and when he calls people back, nobody answers. So I'm taking up the phone calls right now until he changes his number. But you guys can email us to mtmcllc20@gmail.com. Or on Facebook, just look for MTMC Home Services. Or tonight, make sure you guys meet up with Chi. Any residential, commercial plumbing services, we're doing that. And yes, we do some roofing, but right now our focus is on plumbing. Okay, so if you guys need plumbing services, let us know. Cool? Anything else?
Yep. Yep.
All right, thank you, Chi.
I'll be around, so if you guys have any questions, just let me know.
All right.
All right. Thanks, guys.
So thank you, Chi. Another round of applause to the sponsor. All right, our next sponsor is a good buddy of mine, Dean. They started a dumpster rentals and recycling company. And so thank you for sponsoring us. Please give a round of applause. Help welcome Dean. Come up here and talk a little bit about your company, please.
All right, so somebody is doing roofing, siding, and stuff, so I'm here. If you need a dumpster, don't use the trucks. That's not you have to make too many trips. And how many of you guys have like a whole garage of unwanted stuff and you have to go around and go around? Like the holidays, right? You need to make room for your family members to come over and enjoy the space, not the garbage around that you don't need it. So yeah, well before this one, I'm the founder of Restaffing. I gave them a little advertising here. So after that one, I started. I figured out that we need a dumpster. Myself included, I ended up renting a lot of dumpsters. And then I know that my community is big and growing, so we need the dumpsters. We need to hold on junk away. And I'm here. So if you guys have any needs, simply clean your house, any project, let me know. And get in touch with you. Thank you so much. Thank you for giving the opportunity.
We can take a few questions.
How big of an area do you cover?
Anywhere from here to Brooklyn Park. We do Stumbling, down to Rosemont, Burnsville. So pretty much Twin Cities.
Twin Cities only?
Twin Cities.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm doing.
What are your rates? Like, let's say 20 yards.
For now, it's about 5 something.
All All right, we can do Q&A tonight too. Okay, so he'll still be here. But this is Dean's card here. Pro dumpsters, rental recycling. So I think you guys got one, right? When you guys came in. Okay, so yeah, give him a call. I guess he is Hmong. So this is a Hmong-owned dumpster company. He's done a bunch of other businesses in the past as well. But he's opening up this to help our community. Okay, so reach out to him if you guys need anything. Thank you, Dean. I gotta go faster. So here's the agenda today. Right here till 7 to 7:15, you guys checked in already. So we did that introduction, we did that. Topic today is Tong King's gonna be talking about commercial real estate. He's a commercial real estate investor and manager and developer. So he has a bunch of different titles, but he'll be talking about the introduction to commercial real estate, especially the $1 million project that he just worked on, okay? Then after that, we'll just close, get your free beer and network, okay? It's very important you guys network. That's how I started my career. So please network with other individuals tonight here, okay? Any real estate agents we have in here? You guys gotta represent. You guys gotta raise your hand higher, man. All right. Any general contractors in here? GC? All right. GC? Hey, general contractor. Hey, general contractor. He's not paying attention. Sorry. All right, we got general contractors in the room. Any loan officers? Oh man, we gotta do a better job. Oh, loan officers need to come here, man. I'm gonna get a couple of loan officers to pay for our food, so they'll come here. Yeah, what else we have? Well, we have the plumber. Oh, title company, yes. So you guys need title company services as well. All right. There's a bunch of different professionals in here to help you guys with your real estate career. Oh, architect. We have an architect here. So, see, commercial. You guys need architect because even if you buy a commercial property, the inside, like this here, cups and chairs, you need the architect to redesign the inside. Okay. So you'll need a Chi over there. So meet with him. I think we have like one home architect, and he's here. All right. So a little bit about myself. My name is Tu Feng. Me and my wife is up over there, Natalie. We're both. Our specialty is we're called BRRRR investors. So that's when you buy property, you rehab it, you rent it out, you refinance, and you repeat the process. That's kind of our specialty. I'm also an agent at Creative Results for now, right? Until someone recruited. We've been investing in real estate since 2017. We have a little bit about 20-ish units. It goes up and down because we've been selling a lot of our properties. As well, we're currently doing 8 rehabs because we're selling 2. So we just sold one yesterday. We're selling one this Friday. So we're down to 8 rehabs now, 3 new constructions. We found a Hmong builders to come and help our Hmong community and support each other. And I should probably get back to this, but we'll start doing our Hmong builders monthly shows again. Okay. So a little bit of Hmong builders, we just founded to kind of help our community support each other, okay? No, you don't have to be Hmong to be part of Hmong builders, all right? It's just that there's a bunch of other organizations out there already. We need one to kind of focus on our Hmong community, and so that is our focus. But you do not have to be Hmong to be part of the organization, and it's to help us gain economic status, right? So it's going to be focused on making money. That's what I'm saying. And again, we have a lot of other organizations that are focusing on other things already, like HAB and a lot of nonprofit organizations that do really good work already, but we need an organization to help us make money too. And so that's why we founded this organization, to help each other make money. And with that, we do have well, our Facebook page is free, so you guys go to Facebook, Hmong Builders, you guys type on that, that's free. We have over 2,400 individuals on there already, but we do have a paid community. And the reason for the paid community is not really to make money. We don't really make money off of that. But it's to, one is because we talk about some, like we have this weekly, we meet every single week, right? Every Monday, 9 p.m. And we talk about deals that sometimes they're very sensitive information. And so it's hard for me to kind of share that publicly, right? So if it's in a private closed group, then we could really talk about the details of different projects that we're working on. And we could share that because that's a private group. If it's public, it's hard to share those sensitive information. So that's one of the main reasons why we do a closed group like this. Plus it's it's $27 a month. We have a ton of resources in there. We have all the trainings that I do. We have just a bunch of resources in there. So who's part of our school Mobile Builder group? Yeah. Okay. You guys gotta be more proud of that. Raise your hand. All right. Is it worth it? 27? Okay. I have everything that I do, that me and my wife do, we put it all on there. So all of our contracts, all of the calculators that we use, my rehab calculators, my fix and flip calculators, all of those are on there. And again, we meet every single week. So anyways, it's $27 if you guys want to join. School.com/Mobile Builders. Also, if you guys have the drink ticket and you scan that barcode, it takes you to that too. So you guys could join. If you join, you don't like it, just let me know. We'll just give you your money back because it's about us building the community together. Okay? There's 93 people right now already in the group. So if you guys join today, let me know so that I could do a 2-hour. If you guys want, I could sit down with you, do a few hour consultation with you guys to see what you guys want to do. How do you guys want to build? How do you guys want to start investing and things like that, and kind of put that strategy together for you guys. Okay, if you guys want, I'll do that for you. If you pay for a year, it's like $200, and then after we reach 100 members, which we're at 93 already, we're gonna raise the price on that. So if you guys get it at the $27, it's $27 forever. We cannot change that anymore. All right, so it's good to get it early. Cool. Anyone's gonna join? Not yet? I'll show you guys more. If you join, so we have like a tab that we all can communicate with each other, right? We have all these training courses that we put together. So we have all these seminars that we have here, which we record, and you guys get access to that. And you get access to the PowerPoint and any resources that we do with these seminars, you guys get access to it. We have the weekly deals meetup, which we meet every single week. We talk about different deals. Maybe we partner up on deals, things like that. All of those, we record all of that too. And so you guys get those and any resources that go along with that too. So you're getting information every single week. Now, what I found is that we used to do these trainings in the past. What I found is that we need to have you guys communicate with the group consistently to kind of push each other to invest, right? Because I have a few of our investor friends that we started in the past. And those that are still investing with us are the ones that we kind of keep in contact with each other. So you guys need a group to help you guys invest. If you just want information, you can just go on YouTube. YouTube has all the information you need already. But it's about the group. You build a group together so that you interact with each other and you push each other to do projects together, right? My first project, we were like really scared. My wife was really scared at our first project. So we were glad we have a few people that pushed us to do our first project. We also have a bunch of other trainings. Like these are the conference that we did last year. You guys get all the conference recording. People pay like $500 to $1,000 for a conference last year, but you guys get all the recording. As a big part of the group, you just get access to all of that. So that's already worth more than the $27. I also do an 8-hour training, like where I break down how we started investing, right? And so I have that too already here. You guys just get access to that. That's why I have all my contracts and everything that we do. It's all on there for you guys to take over. Cool JB Vang also did a 3-hour training about how to find money, and you guys get access to that too. He has like 140 pages of resources for you guys. All right, all that for $27. So, and then anytime we have any training and any trainings like this or bigger trainings, you guys get discounts to that also. So like, For tonight, it's half off, right? So if you guys are part of the group, you get, it means like $12 to come tonight. All right, and yeah, so it's a bunch of information and a bunch of resources for you guys, okay? All right, now a few of you guys are ready to sign up? All right, 1, 2, 3, we got 3, 4 people. All right, so make sure you guys sign up tonight, let me know so that I can set up a time to do a 2-hour consultation with you guys, okay? The whole point of this is really to put a group together. You know, we have all of that. Oh, here's the conference. Here's all the people that spoke at the conference. So we have, I spoke there. We have one guy that's here. Where's he? Oh, Bashing is in the back. Bashing. Yeah. So he's a general contractor, one of my mentors. So he spoke at our conference. So you guys can meet with him later, and you guys get access to that, right? Koo was our keynote speaker. Stephen and Nu, if you guys haven't met them, please go meet with them. Their presentation was really, really good at the conference. Actually, all of them are really good. Who was here at our conference last year? Yeah. Was it good?
Yeah.
But was it not good? Was it worth it? It was 2 days. 2 days and 2 nights. So, thank you. Yeah, so you guys get access to all of that. All of these are speakers. Chai, Tujer, Sai. Kia's presentation was really good. 3-hour presentation that she did. So, and Ying of Yummy Treats, all of these were there. I did a presentation too, by the way. So anyways, all of that, you guys get access to it for $27, okay? So that's the whole point. That's, just to let you guys know before we start our presentation tonight, so that we could just kind of share that out to you guys. So keep in mind that tonight, the whole point of Will Builders is for all of us to do work together. How we actually get paid is that inside the group, we partner up with each other. So I partner with a few other students and we help each other, and that's how we actually make money, is by partnering up and doing deals together. So this little fee is just really to run the background, make sure that we have the platform running, okay? Cool, guys? Now we have 6 people that's ready to stand up. Raise your hand, the other one. All right, so sign up tonight. Will Builders, or school.com/Will Builders. So with that, let's get started. You guys ready? Okay. All right, let me do a quick introduction so I don't get it wrong. I think I might have to read it. He done so much that it doesn't fit. Usually here, we only put like 3 or 4 items. If you guys have been here in the past, who came to our previous workshop? Who came to workshops before? Not this one. Previous, okay. Who's brand new? This is their first workshop. Raise your hand if you guys are new. Raise your hand higher. Oh, no, not bad. I think we're half-half, so that's good. But Tong, he's a commercial real estate professional, right? I met him when I started as well. I think he started a few years before me. But I couldn't make it in the commercial space, so he made it. So I was a failed commercial investor, commercial real estate investor. But he has over a decade of experience in commercial real estate, development and management. He overseen projects exceeding $75 million. So $75 million of projects, right? He helped transact over 200,000 square feet of commercial real estate. He's a senior advisor and developer manager at JB Bank Partners. So JB Bank, you guys know the real estate company? JB Bank Development Company? All right, yeah. So Karen, make sure you talk to the senior advisor to see if you could get the bid in. All right. Let's see, Chief, make sure you talk to the senior advisors because they have a bunch of big projects over there. See if you could get plumbing bids in. But aside from that, Tong also found Khang Commercial, which is a commercial real estate firm, focuses on commercial advisory management and development services. Tong is also on the chair of Hmong Chamber of Commerce. So thank you for serving our Hmong Chamber of Commerce over there too. I'm also a board member on Hmong Chamber of Commerce. And he's a director, on the board of the Minnesota Dakota's CCIM chapter as well. And so that's where he developed all his businesses and community services to support our community, okay? So with that, if you guys can, please stand, right? And give a round of applause and help me welcome Tong.
All right, thank you too. That was too kind of you. He propped me up really a lot, and now I know that half of you guys haven't been to an event before, and half of you have, so I got a lot to look up to really do here. So thank you all for coming. Two asked me to teach on the topic of how to find, analyze, fund commercial real estate, and then share one of my own personal deals. So that's what I'm planning to do here today. And I hope that after this presentation, you've learned something new and hopefully be inspired to possibly get involved in commercial real estate investing yourselves. And we're not just talking about how to find, analyze, and fund commercial real estate deal, but we're possibly opening up new possibilities for you, your future, and your goals. So let's get started here. Imagine standing at the edge of a vast jungle. You know there's treasures hidden deep inside, but the paths are winding, overgrown and filled with unexpected challenges. Some explorers, they lose their way, while others, with the right tool and guidance, they uncover incredible wealth. So growing up, I've heard stories from my parents about how they would go looking for farmland back in the jungles in Laos. And they'd get up early in the morning, they'd find a plot of land, they'd mark it off with some strings, right? And then what they do is they cut down all the vegetation there, that little slash and burn, right? They bundle it up together and then they burn it up in preparation for planting. My parents knew that if they planted in the right soil, they nurtured their crops carefully, they stayed true, patient throughout the unpredictable seasons, they would reap a harvest to sustain their families. And you might be wondering right now, why is Tong talking about jungles here, and how does this have to do with commercial real estate? Well, in many ways, the journey is quite similar. The world of commercial real estate can feel complex and overwhelming, but with the right strategies, expertise, and with the right approach, the complexities turn into opportunities, and the risk turns into rewards. Commercial real estate can seem daunting, but just like our parents searching through the jungles for good farmland, they knew that if they prepared, planted, and waited, there would be a return. Similarly, here in the United States, we need to understand real estate landscape to thrive. So my name is Tong Khang. I'm the founder of Khang Commercial Real Estate. And so for over a decade, I've been helping business owners, investors find properties that not only meet their needs, but also unlock potentials they never realized existed. So today I'm going to share with you how understanding key market dynamics, briefly cover the importance of analyzing real estate deals, and having the right experts on your team can transform your real estate decisions. If you follow these principles, you'll not only avoid common pitfalls in commercial real estate, but you'll also be able to potentially spot hidden opportunities in the commercial real estate market. Okay, we're going to start this evening with how to find your very first commercial real estate deal. I'm going to give a quick overview of the commercial real estate landscape here in the Twin Cities. Secondly, I'm going to briefly talk about my take on where the market stands today and what that might mean for commercial real estate. We'll discuss what type of investor you are and help you uncover your commercial real estate personalities and how that's going to shape your strategy. And the fourth in this topic, we're going to cover what I call the Goldilocks moment, finding the right deal that's just right for you. So, all right, let's get started here. So if we dive in here, take a look at these two graphs. Okay, you see this graph here? Total number of buildings, total inventory. One shows the total number of buildings, and the other chart shows the total inventory based on square footage here in the Twin Cities commercial real estate market. From the data, there's over 6,000 office buildings, more than 12,000 retail buildings, and nearly 9,000 industrial buildings, and more than 8,000 apartment buildings with 5 or more units here in the Twin Cities. And here's where things get interesting. Oh, sorry. Is from the data, retail buildings are the most common, but they make up the smallest total square footage overall. So this tells us that there are many smaller retail buildings scattered throughout our community. On the other hand, the industrial sector, although it has just a little bit more buildings than, total buildings than office building, look at the total square footage here. And it makes up nearly 3 times as much square footage than the office buildings. And this tends to make sense because industrial buildings are larger in the nature of their use. Apartment buildings, if we average out that 2-bedroom apartments around about 975 square foot, and there's I estimate that there's about 400,000 units here in the Twin Cities, and that makes up a total of that 4 million square footage that you see kind of there. So why does this matter to you? This graph here highlights the sheer scale of the commercial real estate opportunities here in the Twin Cities alone. So I want to challenge you guys that the next time you're driving around in your car, going wherever, right? Going to work, going to the Target, going to whatever you're doing, right? Take a moment and observe the buildings around you, the commercial buildings, not the homes. And think to yourself, someone owns that building. And the next owner hopefully could be you one day. Okay, next, my observation on commercial real estate market. So this is a kind of a fun little slide here that I have up here, and it just shows you, a slide. This is a fun slide. Alan Greenspan, he was the chairman for the Federal Reserve back in the 90s. And he made this speech before the International Monetary Fund, and he said this: the fact that our econometric models at the Fed, the best in the world, have been wrong for 14 straight quarters, does not mean it might not be right for the 15th quarter. That's what we're dealing with here. Yeah, I kind of like this because he's really honest, right? Even the best guys don't even know what they're talking about. So, full disclosure then, I'm no economist, okay? However, I do listen to economists, and honestly, half the time they're like guessing at best, okay? So this is just me sharing some of my thoughts with you guys while observing the world around me and listening to people smarter than me talk about what might be coming up next. So with that said, take everything I say with the next few slides here with a grain of salt, okay? So, here are 2 things I believe that are policy areas that are impacting us in the real estate world. First, I believe that the mortgage rates, that the Fed's kept the rates at 2.75 for way too long, and sometimes even lower, right? When interest rates stays low for an extended period, borrowing becomes really accessible. And then people, they start to naturally start purchasing more, right? They start buying homes, commercial buildings, and other investments. Inventory was already low, home prices were then spiking, and Feds continued to keep mortgage rates way low. And so for way too long, and now houses become not affordable. And it's kind of sad, it's a little bad, right? It's too bad, it's a little sad, and it's not gonna go away, and we're not gonna be able to build enough homes to keep up with the population growth. Sure, in places where nobody wants to live anymore, they're not going to have to worry about housing shortages, but in areas where people want to move to, they will continue to have housing shortages. Sorry, am I kind of like, okay. Okay, sorry about that. All right, here's the other thing. Do you ever wonder just for fun one night, I wonder what it would be like if the federal government just printed $4 trillion and gave it away. I wonder what would happen. And you see exactly what happened because that's exactly what they did. And isn't this fun? If they would just give away $4 trillion every year, it's pretty fun until it's not. And the fun is coming to an end, and it's going to affect you and me as the fun comes to an end. We saw in June of 2022, inflation was a record high at 9.1%. We all felt how just about everything was more expensive. Although we are finally beginning to see inflation settle down, the cost of everything remains high, higher than it was before. And it can be a little bit depressing right now talking about housing supply, and ever-increasing demand, low housing supply, right? And inflation where our dollars are incrementally year over year worth less and less. But here's the silver lining. Inflation can actually be a golden opportunity for real estate investors. As the prices rise, so does the value of property, making real estate a strong hedge against inflation. If you secured a fixed rate loan, you're paying it off with cheaper dollars, while your property appreciates and rental income potential grows. And this is where things get exciting. Understanding that economic shifts open up big opportunities in commercial real estate. If you're prepared, understand your strategies, you can turn these changing market conditions into opportunities. Here's another observation. Higher interest rate environments is a new normal. So between 2002 and 2006, interest rates for a 30-year fixed mortgage hovered between 5.25% and 6.75%, what some economists would call the normal range. Many of us are hoping for lower interest rates to return. But here's the thing, those low interest rates aren't normal. We only saw them during serious financial crisis. After 2008 crisis, the Feds cut rates down to almost zero, and they stayed low for quite a while. But that was a unique situation. And then 2020, we had the COVID pandemic. If you're holding out for similar low rates without a crisis happening, that's not likely. This current environment with higher rates than what we got used to, is probably the new normal for a while. Right now, banks have strong balance sheets, and there's no looming threat to the financial system that would force rates back down to those emergency levels. And that's important to understand if you're planning your real estate investments. The game has changed, and we need to adjust our strategies accordingly. All right, observation 3. It's just starting to happen here. A once-in-a-generation opportunity. Let's talk about this specific submarket, downtown office buildings. I recently came across this article in the Business Journal about this building called the Forum in downtown Minneapolis. This office tower here, back in 2019, it sold for an impressive almost $74 million. Fast forward to just a month ago, this same building sold for $6.5 million. That's a staggering 91% drop in value. And it's not just the Forum either. Other buildings like this, the Kickanek building, LaSalle Plaza, have also seen huge losses, selling for 80% and 70% below their last purchase price. This could set a new benchmark for Minneapolis office market, which is already facing storms of challenges, volatile market conditions, safety concerns, tenants downsizing with changing working cultures, higher interest rates, low maturities, and falling values, just to name a few. While downtown office markets might not be your area of interest, opportunities like this exist throughout the market. Owners are being forced to sell for various reasons, through foreclosure or divorce, death in the family, unwinding of the partnership, a major anchor tenant is leaving, there's no user to backfill the vacancy. They sold a business. And no longer need the property, the loans maturing with higher interest rates, and they can no longer afford the mortgage. Whatever the case, external pressures are motivating sellers across all asset types. So for one investor, this kind of scenario represents a massive loss. I get it, right? But for another, it's a golden opportunity to acquire property for pennies on the dollars. However, now think about this though. However, real estate challenges begin after you purchase it. Acquiring the property is just the first step. What matters most in your strategy for turning it around is how will you fill this space? What's your backup plan when things don't go expected? And what's your contingency plan if plan A, plan B, plan C all fall through? These are the tough questions that make the difference between success and failure. This is where the real money is made, not by inheriting somebody else's problem, but by solving them. Having a well-crafted strategic plan is the first step towards identifying and seizing a commercial real estate deal. And having a professional commercial real estate broker on your side can make all the difference in executing that strategy successfully. All right, my last observation with commercial here is the Goldilocks moments. I recall listening to economist Dr. Dotzer speak on the similarity between what's happening what happened in 1986. I know this is a long time ago, and what's happening today. And I'll share some of that insight with you guys. So let me take you back to 1986 for a moment. The Tax Reform Act of 1986 changed the game for commercial real estate in a big way. To understand what happened in 1986, we need to go back to 1981. And in here, there was tax laws that were incredibly favorable. So much so that commercial real estate was overbuilt across markets and across the world. Then in 1986, those incentives were pulled back and commercial real estate values dropped by nearly 40% overnight. That's how quickly things can shift when you change the rules. The aftermath of this made some people generational wealth. Now fast forward to today. We're not seeing anything into the same scale as 1986, but there are some striking similarities in how policies are playing out right now. Back then it was a tax code change. Today it's the cost of money. Normally the market decides that, but over the last decade the government essentially made the cost of borrowing nothing. And they left it there for a really long time. Now they're trying to unwind that policy, and it's having a big impact. And that's what we're seeing. When you unwind something that was artificially propped up, prices have to adjust. And that's what we're seeing right now, a kind of price discovery process. Just like we did after 1986, values are shifting, but it doesn't happen all at once. There's usually a quiet period when there's not much buying or selling happening because nobody really knows what properties are worth. Price discovery usually starts when a seller, like I talked earlier, is forced to sell for one reason or another. These situations brings properties to market and buyers start to get a sense of where values are settling. And here's the thing, that price discovery can take longer than we like. When those first distressed sales happen, prices might drop by 20%. A few months later, another sale confirms this decline, and before you know it, appraisers are using these distressed comps to establish the market has dropped 20% or more. But once buyer realizes the bottom has hit, things can change really fast. Suddenly you go from almost no deals to happening to a surge of activity because investors realize they missed the bottom and don't want to lose out on the appreciation. All right. Here's another important thing to ask yourself when finding a commercial real estate deal, is understanding what kind of investor you are. The slide here, for me, sometimes it's good to see where the big money is headed. What are institutional investors betting on? If you take a look at the slide, it shows the result of a survey of institutional preferences in commercial real estate. At the top, 60% of these investors are focused on multifamily assets, followed by 50% favoring industrial, then biotech, medical office, self-storage, retail, hospitality, and not surprisingly, office buildings are at the very bottom. So what's the takeaway here? Well, when the biggest players are heavily favoring multifamily industrial, it suggests there's strong beliefs in these asset types. More than half are eyeing multifamily properties. Shouldn't we too? It's split on industrial, showing mixed opinions, but barely anyone seems excited about office buildings right now. But here's the thing, just because everyone's focusing on multifamily doesn't mean that's your only move. I think that sometimes when everyone zigs, the best move is to zag, right? Oh, hold on. I think I might have missed. Remember, each property type is unique. What works nationally might not apply to your specific area or submarket. So while these preferences offer a framework, the real opportunity lies in understanding the nuances of your market. I remember the advice I received from a longtime investor friend of mine, and he told me this, that it's best to focus on one asset class. Get very good at that asset class. Over time, you'll get to know it so well that you'll understand the nuances of it and how to maximize the asset and minimize its expenses. So my suggestion to you is find out what's going to be the right one for you. Get really good at that. Okay, on to the next deal. Now that we've found a commercial real estate deal, what's next? Well, it's time to analyze it. So the other day, I was eating this chocolate chip cookie that my daughter baked, right? It was fresh out of the oven, the dough was really soft, but still had a really nice firmness to it. The chocolate was gooey, and it was melting all over my hand. And it smelled incredible, but it tasted even better. Possibly the best cookie I've ever had. So naturally, I was like, okay, what recipe did she use? Maybe she found this award-winning recipe from a master chef or baker online. I was expecting that there would be some secret ingredient that she used behind this, making this wonderful cookie. But nope, she said she just followed the recipe from the back of that chocolate chip bag. It was no secret. It was just a plain old chocolate chip cookie recipe found on every chocolate chip bag. So I was like, wow. That's kind of like this. It's simply the right ingredients mixed together the right way, following the right steps, and the results were fantastic. Analyzing commercial real estate deal is like a lot like baking this cookie. Ooh. You don't need complicated formulas or secret tools. It's about understanding the basic ingredients, mixing them correctly, and following the steps to get the best outcomes. There's no single tool that everyone uses. If you do a quick Google search, you'll find plenty of free spreadsheets online. I believe two already mentioned earlier here, right? In school, he has all his wealth builders tools and spreadsheets and contracts, all that stuff in school. Me personally, I just use a calculator and an Excel spreadsheet to do my calculations. So at a high level, here's the basic ingredients you need to analyze a deal. I know many of you guys are already probably familiar with some of these terms, but maybe some of you, they're pretty basic. For those who aren't, I just still want to go through and define what these terms are. So we're all on the same page here. Purchase price, this is how much you're paying for the property. Revenue, this is the income the property generates, like rent from a tenant. Expenses, this is cost of operating the property, including maintenance, property management, utilities, taxes, etc. Financing terms, this is the loan details. This is like interest rates, payment terms, amortization periods, term, things like that. Hold period, this is how long you plan to hold your investment for. That's important before selling it. And disposition price, this is the price you expect to sell the property for at the end of the hold period. Okay. And I understand there are a lot of spreadsheets out there that could, that include many details. Some of them have hundreds of different options and assumptions, right? like market condition, risk factors, vacancy rates, tax impacts, depreciation, secondary mortgages. There's all these things you can put in a spreadsheet. Some spreadsheets are extremely detailed, with hundreds of assumptions, while others are very simple. In my experience, these items here are the core elements you need to analyze a deal. The basic ingredients. Just like with that baking cookies, if you get the basics right, you'll end up, you're set up for success. We will look into each of these terms a little further in detail, so you can ask me questions on it if you like, and how it impacts the analysis once we go over the case study. All right, now that we found a deal, and now that we've analyzed it and meets our investment goals, the next question is, how are we going to fund it? For many, this is the most important step. Let me start by saying that there's no one size that fits all approach for financing a commercial real estate deal. There's lots of factors that depends on whether you're coming in as an investor, as a tenant, you're looking to purchase your own space, you're going to lease it for a period of time, that you're going to have an option to purchase. There's a lot of ways to look at this, okay? But no matter where you're coming from, it's crucial to understand your financing options. And so let me break down a few of these common methods. And I know many of you probably already know about this, right? Traditional bank loans, okay? How exciting is that? You're probably, this is the most familiar role for a lot of people. You go to a bank, you provide them with your business plan or investment strategy, and they give you a loan. Usually you have to put 20, 25%, sometimes 30% down. The bank will then refinance the rest. Typically on a term of 5, 7, or 10 years for commercial real estate. If you got a solid credit history and stable income stream, and the property or the project makes sense for the bank, this can be a great option, especially if you're looking to lock in a favorable term interest rate for a long period of time. All right, next one is small business loans, SBA loans, right? So for owner-occupants, small businesses can take advantage of an SBA loan, particularly the SBA 504 and the 7E program. These loans are ideal for those looking to purchase a property to use for their own business. With the SBA 504 loan, for instance, you can get up to 90% financing, meaning you only need to put 10% down. This is an incredible tool for small businesses owners who may not have the capital for a large down payment, but want to build equity in owning their own building. Private lenders, hard money loans. If you need financing quickly or you don't qualify for a traditional loan, private lenders can step in. They offer short-term loans that comes with higher interest rates typically, but are much faster to secure. And this is a great option for those who are looking at a property with potential for a quick turnaround and value add. Maybe you plan to rehab it and to flip it. In which case you don't need a long-term loan, you need something short and quick that can get you in and out of the project. Another option to finance is seller financing. In some cases, seller of a property may offer to finance the deal. This can be an advantage if you're working with a seller who's willing to be flexible on the terms, especially if they're looking for a steady stream of income and are okay with the spreading the payments over time. The biggest advantage of this kind of financial structure, it can be a little less stringent, and you can go through than going through a traditional bank with fewer requirements and more room to negotiate on the terms. In this deal, the case study I'm going to share with you guys, I did seller financing on. Equity partners, this is another for larger deals, many investors are looking for equity partners. You pool your money together with other investors and you purchase a property together. This spreads out the risk and gives you the ability to tackle larger deals, and that might be out of reach for a single investor. Of course, when you're working with partners, you've got to be sure that you're aligned on your investment goals and timeline, and you're aligned with exiting the timelines for exiting the deal. Communication and trust is very key for partnership deals. So whatever method you choose to finance your deal depends on your financial situation and your goals and the nature of the deal itself. Maybe you want to play the long game with traditional loan, or maybe you're looking for a quick return with a hard money loan or an equity partner. Either way, understanding your options is crucial. Financing can make or break a deal, so it's important to choose wisely. Once you've got site control of a deal, you've analyzed it and it makes financial sense, and you have the financing in place, you're ready to move forward and close the deal. And that's where the real fun begins, implementing your strategy and watching your investment grows. All right. Now we're gonna go to a case study here. So two asked me to go through one of my projects here. And so this is my most recent project here. I just closed on it probably less than a month ago, actually. So over the next few slides, I'll be reviewing an offering memorandum I put together. I'll highlight the business plan and ultimately tell you guys why I pulled the trigger to acquire this property. So I had to go through the same steps I talked to you guys about. Find, analyze, fund. Get the deal, right? So here's how it goes. Jefferson Street. So this is a little strip center located up in Blaine, off of the corner of Jefferson Street and 117th. So disclosure here. So these things are forward-looking projections. I cannot guarantee anything, right? I have to disclose. So it's hard to read, I get it, but that's what I'm saying. So put together this executive summary here. So it starts out by, how did I find this deal? Some of you guys are curious, how do you find commercial real estate deals? I showed you earlier in those slides, there's thousands and thousands and thousands of commercial properties scattered throughout the Twin Cities. And for one reason or another, sellers have to sell it. So it's about figuring out the motivations of the sellers. In this particular case, it just so happened that I caught the seller at the right time. He's owned this property for 20 plus years, and now he's an older gentleman. He's looking to retire and kind of divest of his real estate holdings, and then essentially retire. He's going to sell his business at the same time. And so catching him at the right moment, at the right time, being ready, looking for these kind of properties. And I myself knew that I like retail strip centers. I particularly like strip centers 8 to about 15,000 square foot, and that had between 3 and 7 tenants that I could personally manage myself. And so I go around looking for kind of properties like this. And I saw earlier, I also showed you guys a slide of all those properties. I know there's lots and lots of small little retail strip centers scattered throughout the Twin Cities. And so I called this owner saying, hey, I'm a principal, I'm looking to buy right now, invest, are you ever interested in selling? And he just said, yes, let me talk to you. And so sometimes it's that simple. A cold call to an owner who I know has a property that I'm interested in. Some they might say, no, I'm not interested, go pound sand, and I'm like, all right, well, fine, I'll call you later. And sometimes they'll say, yeah, the situation, something's going on, and that they're open to entertaining offers. So this was an off-market deal. Other times, you find deals simply from working with brokers like myself and other professionals, knowing different people, talking to people, and good deals happen before it even gets on the market. So oftentimes that's the case. But I've also found really good deals that's been on the market and it makes sense, and I was able to negotiate it down, and it made sense for my investment goals, and then I purchased it while it was marketed. So either way, those are different ways of finding commercial real estate deal. In this case, in this instance here, I called the owner, cold called, and he was like, yeah, I'm looking to sell. And so at first it was like, hey, he was like, I don't know if I want to sell it or not, but over time, eventually he was at a price here, I was at a price here. We kind of learned enough, got enough motivation for him to say, hey, yeah, I'm really willing to sell it. And so we came to, that's how I found this deal. So now that I found the deal, I negotiated the price where it made sense for me and made sense for him, and we agreed to that number. I'm running my analysis now. So in this analysis, super hard to see. So, know that these numbers are pretty good, right? This is the actual deal, how I structured it. So I purchased this property for $650,000, okay? So this number there shows $650,000. I put 25% down on my own money here, and I knew that I was gonna negotiate that the seller was gonna carry this for me at a 30-year amortization, 7% interest rate, and with a 5-year term on the loan. So I ran all those numbers and I was like, oh yeah, this makes sense. And that made sense at the current cash flow. So the building here is cash flowing at a number that it's not really good, right? The building here, the rents are so low at this building. And so that's why the price of the building was acquired at such a low price. However, I know that I can increase the value of this property by implementing my strategy, and this building is gonna be well worth more than double this. So this is where I see that there's a value here. There's an opportunity here for me to create some value and gain, make some money out of it. So this is why it's important to run your analysis. There are a few levers that you need to pull. There's only a few levers in commercial real estate, that really increase a lot of value. One is making sure you buy it at the right price. Second thing is increasing your NOI. And you increase your NOI simply by increasing your revenue or reducing expenses. And the third thing is getting good financing terms. So in this instance, I negotiated a purchase price that made sense for the deal, had negotiated good financing terms, and had a strategy to increase NOI. So this, oh wow, it's impossible to see this, okay? But over here, breaks down now, year by year, kind of here. Kind of what we're talking about. You know those cookies ingredients that I was showing you? Well, this is the cookie ingredients here. It'll tell you purchase price, it'll tell you revenue, it'll tell you expenses, it'll tell you hold period, and it'll tell you the disposition price. So when you put all this stuff together, which are forward-looking assumptions, you're able to create your overall financial analysis of the deal to see whether or not the deal makes sense. So once you crunch all that number together, you get to this one page that I put together called Measurement of Investment Performance. And so this shows you that, okay, year zero, this is me putting in money in right now. I had to put in $162,000 of my own money to buy this deal. And the first year, look, I'm only making $4,000 in cash flow for the whole year. That means I'm only making like $500, not even a month. It's not that great, right? But as you can see, as I begin to implement my next year, year two, and you got to do this because tenants also have leasehold rights. You can't just go in there and kick them out. They have contracts and legal binding terms. Tenants are in place here, so I have to account for that whole period. That's why it's so low. As tenants are renewing, then I can start to hopefully bump up the rent. And I'm making these assumptions that I'm going to be able to bump up the rent by year 3, year 4, and year 5. So if all my assumptions turn out right, and I'm just moving them up to market rent, I should be cash flowing this property after the end of year 5, $45,000. So when you put it all together and look at this, and if I assume that I'm going to sell it, this is before taxes, okay guys? If I assume that I'm going to be able to sell it at a certain cap rate, which I'm assuming in this case is 8% cap rate, by year 5, I will be able to sell this property based on the current cash flow for $1.3 million. There's your $1 million value of the property, okay? This is an assumptions. Put all this together, I calculate that out, what's called internal rate of return. I will get 44% before taxes on my investment of $162,000. So this is how we can look at running a financial analysis to understanding whether or not a deal makes sense or not. For me, look, I like the 44% return before taxes, 38% after taxes. There's not a lot of things in this world that's going to give you that kind of return. So that's why I invested in this deal. Financially, it made sense no matter how I looked at it. I'm like, oh yeah, okay. Sometimes it just takes that risk and you gotta go do it. So for you as an investor, maybe your threshold is 8% return. If it's 8% return, great. We can find a lot of deals that meet that threshold. Maybe it's 15% return, double digits at least, right? Or 10% or 15, whatever it is, you got to determine, you as an investor, what kind of investment profile are you? Maybe you're doing super duper well and all you want to do is invest in secure assets and just get a nice 8% return and have a little cash flow and that's fine for you. Great, we'll look at those kind of asset classes so that you're not going to lose money. In this case here, I have to implement a strategy. I'm taking some big risk here. But with big risk comes potentially bigger rewards, right? It's very possible that I can make wrong assumptions too and lose it all. So that's the thing. Being fairly honest here with you guys gotta see all my numbers. I'm telling you, this is the real deal I just did. Okay, so when you're doing deals like this, you gotta also understand, you make it look beautiful, you tell what's a property. You gotta understand the ins and outs of that particular property. Put together a property description, understand its zoning, understand its uses, talk to the city, understand the age of the building, the capital improvements, all these things you gotta think about before you pull the trigger on investing in a property. Because sometimes those things that you haven't thought about, they cost a lot of money to fix, right? And if I'm only making $4,000 in my first year, anything goes wrong, one furnace breaks, I'm coming out of pocket again. Does that make sense? So make sure your assumptions are good and you're thinking through it. And for me, how it helps me is I know I'm not going to be able to understand 100% of how the deal is going to go. Okay, nobody knows 100% for certainty that everything's going to happen exactly the way you're going to plan it. But for me, if I can get to about 70, 75%, 80% of certain kind of it makes sense, I'm pretty ready and willing to pull the trigger. And if I look at the numbers, I'm not attached to the emotions of that building and saying like, oh yeah, that's where my parents used to own a business in there and now I'm emotionally attached to it and I'm willing to, I'm not thinking clearly. You gotta look at the numbers. Does the numbers make sense? Does market in that area make sense? And if it does make sense in the market, the fundamentals of that market make sense, then yeah, you can pull the trigger. But you gotta make that decision for yourself. So this is where it's important to do a market analysis. As a business owner or an investor, you gotta understand where are the markets that you like to invest in. For you, it might be here in St. Paul. Maybe it's here in Maplewood. Maybe it's in, Blaine, like this property is. Maybe it's in Shakopee or Savage. I don't know, wherever your market is, you gotta understand what that market conditions are. And then understand where is it at in its cycle? Is that market growing up? Or is that market stabilizing? Is that market going down? Is that market recovering? And depending on the asset class that you choose to invest in, that cycle there is very important. And so this next slide here just shows you that, hey, understanding the demographics. Okay. So we've come to this all-important slide, go or no go. I know we covered a lot, but now it's decision time. After all the analysis, the diligence, the numbers crunching, you come to this critical point. You've got to make a decision. You got to decide if this is the right deal for you. As a commercial real estate investor, you've got to think through the entire strategy. From the moment you buy it to when you sell it, all the assumptions in between. It's important to remember that you don't have a crystal ball, and it's possible your assumptions could be off. You might be too conservative, and the deal turns out better than you expected, or maybe the market shifts, and you need to pivot. But the key is to do your homework. Think through your strategy and make a decision you can stand behind. And you know what? Sometimes deciding no-go is just as valuable as deciding to move forward. And I know I've worked with many clients that after digging through all the details, we come to the conclusion that this is not the right deal for them. And that's is a success too. It's about clarity and knowing what's right for you. My goal when I work with my clients is to provide them the information they need so that they can make an informed decision for themselves on what to do. The process of analyzing a deal takes time, sometimes 40 to 60 hours from start to finish. But if you're taking the time to truly understand the property, the market conditions, the potential, you should be in place where you know if this is the right move. If something doesn't sit right with you, if you're not feeling it, you gotta trust that. That could be a signal for you that this is a no-go deal. Fear is normal when facing big decisions. But if you've done the homework and align the deal with your goals, that will guide you to the right choice. And here's the vital takeaway. Don't settle for second best. If the property doesn't meet your criteria, don't be afraid to walk away. Take what you learned, what you liked and didn't like, and use that knowledge to search for the next opportunity. But if this deal has the potential to propel you forward and help you achieve a goal, go for it. Pursue your passion. You've got everything it takes to make this work. The dreams and ambitions you've always had are within your reach. You gotta trust yourself to make that move. All right, in just a moment, we're gonna have some time for some questions. So feel free to start thinking about what's on your mind. But before we dive into the Q&A, let me give you a quick summary about what we covered. We walked through the process of finding and analyzing a commercial real estate deal. We discussed some market observation and how to make sure that it meets your investment goals. We explored different ways to fund the deal. And finally, we talked about the all-important decision, go or no go. The key is to be clear on your goals, doing the work, and making a decision that you can stand behind, whether it's to move forward or to walk away. So let me answer something I know you've all been thinking. Where do I start? Well, we can start by first understanding where you are at, what are your goals, your risk tolerance, and figure out what kind of investor you are. And if you're ready to move forward and want to start investing in commercial real estate and believe that I can help you, it's simple. Just scan this QR code or fill out the form and schedule a time for us to meet. Once we've done that, you'll be able to take the next step. And before we wrap up, let me leave you with a final thought here. As Franklin D. Roosevelt has said, real estate cannot be lost or stolen, nor can it be carried away. Purchased with common sense, paid for in full, and managed with reasonable care, it's about the safest investment in the world. Commercial real estate, when carefully analyzed and strategically pursued, has the potential to not only grow wealth, but also create lasting impact. If we approach every deal with this mindset, the opportunities are limitless. In real estate, we're not just making investment, we're shaping futures. So let's go out there and build something great together. Thanks.
Some Q&As. So I was gonna ask some questions first, but just to clarify some things for you guys, right? I know that Tong covered a lot, right? So give him another round of applause. Thank you, Tong. I actually was trying to convince him to open that deal up for you guys. Remember we talked a little bit? So if you guys would invest into that deal, you guys could have split the profits, so it would have been 20% return each, right?
Yeah, true.
Yeah, so let's do a couple of things, right? I wrote down a few questions because I wanted to point this out. So what are some of the typical terms for commercial real estate loans?
Okay, so in my experience, so there are, typically banks are looking 20-year amortization, 25-year amortization periods. They can do anywhere from 5, 7, or 10-year terms, depending on the deal. So that's kind of where they're at.
So when we're talking about 20 years amortization, they do it as if you pay the principal and interest over 25 years. However, if it's 5-year terms, then that means it's due in 5 years. So you have to pay the entire thing back
Yeah, like
in
a
5
balloon
years, right?
Yeah.
So it's 5-year terms. Let's see, 2024, 23, 22, 21, 19. So it's almost 5 years since the interest rate was really low, right?
That's right.
So now it's some of the commercial real estate that they purchased with the low interest rate, guess what? They're coming due. They either need to refinance, which most likely not going to work because the interest has more than doubled, right? So they refinance, they're not gonna make any money. So they might be forced to sell, or they might be forced to do some type of seller financing or something like that. So I think that most 5 and 7, some 10 years, these commercial loans are coming due soon, which creates opportunities. Like that case that you gave,
Yeah.
that's 74 million, and now they're selling for 7.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. So there's opportunity that's coming up. That's what I foresee, right?
Yeah, and what Chu is touching on there is motivation, right? Sometimes interest rates, when you first bought the building, you underwritten at a 4% interest rate, and now interest rates are at 8, 9%. All of a sudden, the deal doesn't make sense anymore. And so you as an owner of that property, be like, hey, my loan term's coming due, and the bank is not gonna give me a 4% interest rate anymore. What's the best thing I can do? Well, let me take some capital gains, try to sell it to somebody, and hopefully they can put some more money down on it and still make a cash flow work.
So this opportunity is all the time. In residential, we have the 30-year fix, most are 30-year fixed, so you're locked in for the 30 years. But in commercial, every 5, 7, 10 years, even like the really, really good loans, is usually 10 years, you gotta refinance. So there's opportunities every 5 years to 10 years, okay? In your property specifically, what are some of the things that you have to take care of? Like what are some common areas or things that you have to take care of?
Yeah, so my property is, I'm simply playing the role as a landlord now, so I have to take care of all the structural components, the common areas of the building, such as the parking lot, and making sure that's free and clear of debris and stuff for the tenants, right? And so landscape, all those things. But inside the build space themselves, tenants are responsible for their own space. I gotta take care of everything else.
Yeah, so you have to take care of a little bit less, right? Because each tenant that comes into a location like here, like Hudson Chairs here, they have to redesign this. They did it themselves. The landlord did not, some landlords might give credit, but for the most part, the landlord doesn't give them money to fix the inside. So if they spend all the money to fix the inside, guess what? They're less likely to also leave because they spend so much money already. So here it's in commercial real estate, you're doing what's called B2B, right? You're dealing business to business. You're not doing B2C, which is business to consumer. In all the residential rentals that we have, we're doing B2C. Like we're doing business to consumer. And I know how much my wife loves dealing with tenants. But if you deal with a professional tenant that they're running a business, it's just the numbers, Negotiate the contract and you're done. And they're not looking to leave unless they have a really good reason to leave. But most tenants that they come in, they usually want to stay, right?
Yeah, so it's kind of like what you said. There is an upfront investment that tenants do put into it. But as you know, not all businesses are successful, and some businesses do close. And so you as a landlord have to account for those things. And that's why in some of those financial analysis we talk about vacancy loss. That is also calculated into that if you actually want to get into it. It's important to understand the market condition, understand vacancy loss, so you can make that assumption into your calculations.
I do have other questions, but yeah, if you guys have any questions, we could open it up. Okay, Sandy.
Thanks for this presentation. I was just curious, when you look at commercial real retail properties, what was your reason for buying that as opposed to, let's say, multi-unit apartment buildings or doing a new build? Can you tell me more kind of your thought? Maybe I should write your thought on that.
Yeah, Cindy, that's a great question. So what led me to looking at commercial real estate is kind of what Tu mentioned a little bit earlier. I'm dealing with business to business. I'm going to be self-managing these assets, so I need to also pick a property that I know that I'm not having to be there at 2 o'clock in the morning fixing a toilet, okay? You see? And so this is my hesitation of buying I've sold many apartment buildings before. We build apartment buildings and stuff like that, but for me to own it, I don't like that management side of things. Yeah, and so it makes it a little easier for me to manage because I'm just a one-man guy, right? So that's what led me to that. And then it led me also that based on my investment amount of under $200,000, that's what I had in mind. I'm like, okay, I want to find something that I can park this $200,000 in mine. There's not a lot of asset that I'm not going to be able to build a new build with $200,000 of equity. It's, you know, and so it's all these different factors that kind of come down, and then understanding also that I happen to like commercial real estate in a neighborhood retail strip centers that kind of fits kind of me as a profile, because I know I can backfill it with other small Hmong business owners. Because ultimately I want to help Hmong people, Hmong business be successful. And if I can own real estate and a Hmong business comes to me and say, hey Tong, I'm looking for a space up in Blaine. I want to give them the first opportunity to lease it up because I want to see the business be successful. And so, as me as an owner, landlord, then I have that ability to make that decision, right? And so, and I know there's a lot of businesses that are interested in leasing out retail buildings. So that's what led me to that same thing.
I think Sandy has another question, but let's go with you first.
Okay?
So, being that the rental right now is so low, what is your plan to increase the vacancy or increase the rent that is currently ongoing once their lease has expired?
Yeah, that's a really good question, Amanda. And so, how I can reduce, right now the building's fully 100% occupied, okay? There's no vacancy there. The reason there's no vacancy is because rent's so low. That makes sense, right? And so as terms come through, it's important for me to have conversations with the tenants right up front and set expectation that, hey, this is where market's at. I'm not gonna jump them straight to market because I know they're a small business owner too. These are mom and pop businesses. And so they are not used to paying the rents that a national, firm might be able to pay and afford. So slowly, incrementally increase them up. But of course, telling them, hey, this is where I need to be. And if it so happens that they cannot afford that and for their business, then I will market that space for new tenant, re-tenant the building too. And because the market condition of where Blaine is situated right now, it's a growing community. I like kind of the trajectory of where it's headed. I believe I can retain it rather quickly, actually. So I'm not too concerned about retention, and have a lot of experience of retaining new buildings, so I'm not too worried about not having the ability to retain it. So.
Is there a certain database that you look at to see how much you can project it to?
To where rents are? No, so it's because I do deals in the market with other clients, and and this is my career, right? This is my job, is to understand market condition, talk with brokers and negotiate with brokers on deals. So I get to see where real deals are being struck at, right? And so my knowledge is where I know, okay, I'm like, okay, Blaine, rents should be at $12 to $14 base, and I should be anywhere between $5 and $7 in my cabinet charges. So that means that leads me to be about $18 to $20 gross, right? Right now we are at less than 10. Okay, so there's a cushion there for I'm like, okay, if I can move them up to about $15, I'll be very happy. And the building should be cash flowing really well, and I should meet that $45,000. And then both of that incentivizes them that they will stay there as well because they're still getting a deal as well. And so, just understanding the market conditions, doing some research, talking to brokers and other professionals will give you the insight you need in order to understand it. And then for me as a landlord, I will then have that conversation individually with each tenant, saying, tenant ABC here, I know your lease is coming up due. I'd like to, talk about renewal here. Are you looking to stay, looking to attend, and have that conversation with them. That make sense?
Yeah, so in commercial, most of the time they do it by the square feet of the property, right? So square footage of the property, it's not by rooms, because obviously this is a big room, that's a small room over there. So it's a total square footage that they're renting out, and he's talking about right now it's 10?
Ish, I don't know,
10,
you know,
right?
each one pays
Yeah,
different
around
amounts.
there, and then he could probably get it to around 15. So that's already like a 50% bump, right? In terms of rental revenue. That's the potential there, right? Yeah, question.
So I know Stan and I, we deal with more like residential, commercial property, and so we're good at skip tracing owners and whatnot. How do you find owners for strip malls or for any other commercial property?
You know,
How do you find them, especially they're hiding behind an LLC?
well, T. Lee, right? Is that how you say your name? If you already know skip tracing, you know you can get behind that already. And so, same thing. All around you, there are some people who owns this. This strip center here is owned by Madison Equities. You know, simply understanding, hey, are you interested in purchasing this building? I would probably go talk to Madison Equities. If I was working with a client who's interested in purchasing this. But first, it has to make financial sense. Let's run the numbers. Where does it make sense to acquire this property at based on this current cash flow? And if it doesn't make sense, and they're asking for this crazy price up here, and it's only really based on the current market condition, it should be worth here. Does it make sense for you? If it doesn't, to buy at this price, you'd be upside down day one, right? So it's the same way you're skip tracing. To answer your question, it's the same way you're using to skip trace for residential homes. It's the same thing you can do in commercial world.
Also in commercial real estate, you don't have a buyer's or a seller's agent, okay? It's just one agent if you're working with an agent. And also if you're working with an agent or the broker, they don't even have to disclose anything. They don't even have to market the property. They could just send it to Patrick or Cy to purchase, right? So one way that you could search for these properties, maybe the leasing agent, they might have their phone number, go talk to that broker. Or go talk to someone like Tong here, right? He might have these properties that maybe he has a client that they want to sell. And then so he could just send it directly to you. He doesn't have to disclose and show it on some type of market. So that's the difference in commercial. They do not have to disclose it. They don't have to, there's no fair disclosure thing. Yeah. So it might not even hit the market. So you can find deals by finding brokers like Tong and talking to them and letting them know what type of properties you guys are looking for. And once they find a property, they just send it over to you. And that'll be a pocket listing that they send over.
Yeah, and you'll find that in this, I've been doing this for a long time now, and the commercial agents here in the Twin Cities, there might be about 1,500 in the association. However, really, there's only 200 real players that are doing deals. And so, when you build those connections, those ins and through time and doing deals with them, they understand that you are one of those real players, and they can start kind of passing deals along to each other, right? And so sometimes they'll be like, hey, Tufeng, you're looking to buy a building, well, and you have some money that you want to exchange into. Well, I have this building over here. I'm willing to sell to you, but let me buy one of yours. You buy one of mine. Boom, deal gets done, and nobody even knows about it. It's relationships like that. And then sometimes it's relationships like finding some random person that, hey, you caught them at the right time, and they're looking to divest or sell for one reason or another. So it's about working the deal, talking to different professionals. Sometimes you're talking to a banker that is has a portfolio of properties that are underwater, and now they just need to get rid of it too. So there's a lot of different ways to I would start by, hey, talk to a commercial agent, and maybe they can help you figure out, you yourself figure out what kind of investor you are, so you know where your risk tolerance is, what you're interested in. Because if you're interested in multifamily, at least now you can narrow it down to the things that you really know you like.
Yeah, so especially in commercial real estate, insider trading is really encouraged, right? So like again, sometimes they don't have to market it out, okay? They just trade between each other. they're good. If people want, I know that the slides are really, it's hard for you guys to see. Do you guys want a copy of the slides? Well, then you gotta go to school.com / Mom Will Builders. Enjoy it, it'll be on there. But, I mean, it will be on there too. But if you guys do want it, just message me or maybe message Tong. Tong could email it to you guys so you guys can actually see the numbers. But it is his actual numbers, okay? So please don't like just post it on TikTok or whatever. All right, so be cognizant of that, please. Thank you. Any other questions? Yeah, Chief.
So when do you consider this the right deal, or how long is the right deal?
Yeah, that's a good question, Chief. So the right deal is the one that makes sense, right? For me, of course, I'm putting in a bunch of money and I'm like, dude, is this the right deal or not? Not knowing. No one has a crystal ball. No one has the future, right? No one knows what's going to happen. I could get a call tomorrow and say that all my tenants say, hey, I hit your guts and I'm going to leave. What am I going to do about it, right? We don't know. However, based on the fundamentals of the deals that I know and was presented I calculated it, and the assumptions about the market conditions, they all make sense. I ran the numbers inside and out, and I understood all the things that I shared with you earlier, and the deal still made sense. That, for me, was an 80%, where I felt comfortable moving forward, because I had enough information. I've also hired a property building inspector to go with me to do my site due diligence, went through all of that, talked to the city about what uses are approved and what not, because if I were planning to re-tenant it, right? All these things felt good. I felt good about the owner. I felt good about my financial terms. I felt good about the building itself. I felt good about the current tenants and the strategy that I was implementing. And then, for me, that made sense to me to do it. I'm willing to risk my hard-earned money to do it.
Did that take like a year?
So sometimes it can take a year, depending on the complexity of the deals. Yes, in commercial real estate, it doesn't just happen like that, right? They are commercial deals can take a long time. Due diligence can take a long time, and depending on the complexity of the deals, it can take years to get to the point. But you got to have site control, and then you can negotiate what's called extensions. And so yes, complicated. You understand development projects can take years to do, but it's not like a house where you can expect to get it closed in 30 days. Commercial deals, you should expect at least 6 to 9 months to get a deal done. You get it done.
How long was this one from beginning to close?
So I started talking to this owner back in January earlier this year. So can you imagine? And I didn't close until the end of August. It just takes time because they have to be ready to sell to you as well. If they're not, and there are many times throughout that period where the deal he could have just said, hey, no, I'm not interested in selling anymore. I talked to my attorney or talked to my banker or whatever, and I'm going to re-strategize doing something else. And that would have killed the deal right there. So you have to have a lot of willing parties come together to make the deal make sense.
Sounds like you need a real estate professional to help you navigate this process, right? All right, I think you have a question?
Yeah.
So help me understand how it works. So if you have a tenant, let's say a barbershop guy comes, he puts in a bunch of gas and stuff. When he leaves, does he have to take it all down, or does the next tenant moves in, do they have to deal with all of that?
Okay, that's a very good question. So it depends on how you have your lease drawn up. See, I'm not an attorney, so I'm not going to give you legal advice on leases, but it's important to figure out what how your lease is structured. And in some leases, sometimes they'll have tenants be responsible for bringing it back to a certain condition, and other times they'll leave those as fixtures. So it varies.
So get a good leasing agent and an attorney to help you with it.
Yeah.
Like another real estate professional can help you with leasing.
Does that answer your question?
Yeah.
And in commercial real estate, we really do hire, brokers like Tong to come help you guys with your leases, right? Okay, it's better to just hire them versus you leasing it yourself. It's not like, the residential rental where you could just put it up on Facebook. All right.
Yeah, and to touch base on something very important. Landlords have representation, listing agents. tenants who go in lease space have representation, tenant representations. So I think about it as among analogy. You know how when you go marry somebody and you have Pila and you have all these people come and negotiate on your behalf so that there's no problems in between the families? We as representations are like that. We are the mediators, the ones between, so that you as a tenant and you as a landlord are not, facing off head to head right away. And so hopefully you guys have the barriers that you guys gotta live together. And hopefully all the negotiations is handled between the two mediators. And so there's no hard feelings at the end of the day.
It's not your fault. It's those two negotiators.
Yeah, but
They're the one that don't want to get the deal.
yeah, they're.
All right, do you have questions?
Yeah.
For your deal, would a SBA loan work for that too?
No, it would not, because I am not owner occupying that building. SBA, it's important for you to talk to a banker about an SBA loan. You have to be, my understanding is that you have to occupy at least 51% of it with your business to qualify for an SBA loan. It's 504. 7A program, yes, you can do buy equipment and stuff, but it's important to talk to a banker about that.
That loan is similar to like the FHA loan for the residential side, right? So you could buy 4 flats, but you have to live in it. You could buy commercial real estate, but your business needs to be in it, occupying at least 51%. Question?
A lot of people want a commercial building with a lot of parking.
Yeah.
But in my understanding, each of those parkings cost you, the owner, so much money to upgrade. Is that true?
So when you buy a site, sometimes some city has parking ratio requirements based on the square footage of the building. And sometimes they don't. Like in St. Paul right now, they changed that parking requirements for all new development. You don't have to have any parking if you don't want any. But where are people going to park? You're right. People need a place to park because we still drive our cars around, right? And so it's about finding a building that meets your need. If you're looking for a building that has a lot of parking, then we got to find a building. We're looking for buildings that meet your size requirements and that has the adequate parking requirement for your needs. And so keep in mind that in mature cities, we talk about mature cities that are fully developed, like St. Paul, there's not a lot of land left out there, right? You can go out into the boonies or the rural areas and there's plenty of land. You can build as big as a parking lot as you want. But in St. Paul, you're not going to be able to find a lot of sites that have a lot of parking space because it's a fully developed community. And so, unless you assemblage the lots around you, you're not probably going to have a lot of parking.
Okay, you guys may have more questions, but Tom, are you still going to hang out for a little bit afterwards? Okay, so you guys can ask some questions too. You helped with the Unison closing, right? Both of them actually, right?
Yeah, I did.
Can you talk briefly about what are some things that you offered them, in terms of advising them, helping them through that process, that services that you provide them?
Oh yeah, so yeah, I did Unison, and we purchased the Perkins and everything. So they came to me as just a family with a dream, right? Saying, hey, I want to create an event center. And so I was like, and at first I had a listing on over there on 94 and on White Bear over there, Suburban Square, the building right out next to Target over there on the right side. And they're like, hey, can I put an event center? I was like, oh no, that's not where you want to put an event center. So then they asked me to help them find a site. And I'm like, hey, there's going to be a site here, a school site, right over here, right here across the street. That I'm like, it's going to have the adequate parking that you're going to need, the right size of the building, all these things. And then all we have to do is entitle it properly. And so they listened to me, and we went ahead, we acquired it, we entitled it, and they built it out. And so now they run a very fun business, and they're doing very well, and I'm happy for them, and they employ a lot of people, and so that makes me feel good, because that's my goal. What I want to see happen is more young people owning businesses, owning real estate, making a really good impact in the community. I want to help more businesses do that. So,
All right, so thank you for helping them out with that, Tom. Now we have a place. So Unison's a restaurant and hall, banquet hall that's right down the street from you. Because I think a few people don't know. Okay, I guess one more question.
Sorry, because you brought it up and it's so interesting to me. Can you talk a little bit more about the entitlement process? And
the what?
The entitlement process that you went through?
Yeah, so that's a good question. It gets into a little further details, if you want to talk to me, come talk to me afterwards, right? Because pretty much entitlements, and Chi will know, I also know about this as well. He's an architect, he deals with this all the time. But it's just working with the city to get the approvals you need to do the businesses that you want. And so it simply boils down to that. We call that all entitlement.
And you need a professional to help you through that process, guys. Don't try to, so get a professional. Just a few more questions. If you find another deal like this, would you allow other people to participate and invest with you?
Yes, I would. I'm actually looking for people to do this because, as I told you about the Goldilocks moment, the opportunity, I really do believe is coming up in the next 24 months. And I alone do not have enough capital to take down some opportunities, right? Once I use my money, there it goes. It's stuck in that. Money, when you invest in real estate, it's not liquid. It becomes this wall and this floor and these lights. It's hard for me to pull out that money to go do another building. And as you can see, it takes a long time to implement a strategy because you have obligations of maintaining those leases with the tenants and honoring those leases. So this is not a quick, you have an opportunity, when you do investment deals, you have the ability to lose all your money, but you also have the ability to gain a lot of wealth if you do the right deals, right? So this is not a get rich quick kind of investment. This is a long-term investment. And so I'm looking for investors who see the long-term investments, who have some capital to invest and partner up. And if you believe in me, you want to do the deals, if I find deals, I'm looking for you guys all the time. And we're happy to talk to you guys more about it if you like.
So aside from Tong helping you guys out too, not that you have to partner up with them, but it's hard to find these deals, it's hard to structure these deals. So even this one, I was telling Tong, hey, we should open that to the group to see if others want to invest. But he went ahead and pulled the trigger on it before we were able to talk to the rest of you guys. But that's the point of our school group, our school community, is so that if we find these deals, then we can kind of share along with each other and see if it's a good fit for you guys. It's not going to be a good fit for everybody, okay? Some might want to do, there's so much to do in real estate. Like I'm doing we're doing some new constructions, right? And we do have some in the group that partner up with us in the new construction. But this retail, this wave of commercial real estate, I think it's a once in a lifetime opportunity, and we should start looking into that too. So the rest of you guys, really, if you haven't, try and see if you want to be part of our school group, so that once Tong or other people find different deals, we could throw it in there and we could all help and support each other and partner up and do these deals with each other. Okay. Tong, any last words you want to say? I think we'll leave it at that. How do people get a hold of you?
Here's my card right here. If you want to get a hold of me, just scan this or take down my name number here or go to kangcommercial.com. There's a lot of different ways. Look me up. It should be all over. That's my information. And yeah.
With that, okay. Give a round of applause to Tong. Thanks so much. Another round of applause, man. Tong, thank you so much. Like I said, I met him a long time ago, and I was starting commercial real estate at that time, but I made the switch to residential because that wasn't good enough. So you guys, he's a real